they stagnate because they've reached a level where they didn't learn the things they needed to learn, so they don't have control of basic skills. So it doesn't matter how much they practice, they get to a point where if 5 plus 5 keeps equaling 11, you can only get so far in math. I don't care how much you try to practice it.
Mike, I have a question for you. We're gonna get straight into it. So about 20 golfers on the range here. There's golfers all over the world working hard, and given the same amount of hard work, some people get better and they leave their Saturday golf buddies in the dust as they go on to bigger and better tournaments.
Yeah.
And some people just stay the same, and then eventually they start to get older, and then it gets even worse. So what's the difference between the golfer that gets better and the golfer that...
Well, first of all, most people have no idea what it is they're actually trying to do.
Okay.
So it's a random access of information or tips. So whatever happens to be, whatever they're thinking about when they hit a ball that goes well, that becomes what they need to work on. So if they happen to be thinking about keep their head still and they hit a ball solid, oh, that's the key, keep my head still.
Yeah.
Well, I watch them all the time out here, and they keep their head still 3 times in a row. They hit 1 good and 2 bad ones. And I ask them, so what was the difference between the good and the bad? I said, well, on the bad one, my head moved. I don't know, your head did the same thing.
All right.
They go, no, I said, well, I'll put you on the video. So the first step is they don't even know what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
The second thing is they're not very disciplined with just basic things like aim. You look down this range. Okay, we got like 20, 15 guys out here hitting balls.
Yeah.
How many of them have sticks on the grounds for their alignment?
Let's see.
0.
None. Yeah, none.
Okay, so here's what that means.
And you, I've been out here with you now 4 years, and I've never seen you hit a full shot on the range without sticks.
Well, when I absolutely don't, because I have control of my alignment, and visually, I get used to seeing a certain picture, okay? When I'm set up correctly, what does it look like? If I all of a sudden, what most people do, they make a swing, and they're aimed way offline, and they make a swing, they make a pretty good swing, and they hit the ball way over there, and they go, oh, that's terrible.
Right.
So then here's the next swing.
Uh-huh.
They go, well, that was terrible. So they aim the same, and then they go, well, the target's over here. Then they fix their swing, and they go, and the ball goes more at the target, and they go, that's better. Are you kidding me? See, that's not better at all. That's actually worse. Okay, so the first thing...
The motion was a lot better there.
On the first one, but the
ball
ball went at the wrong target because I wasn't aimed.
Yeah.
So if you want to be consistent, the people who get better take control of things they have control of. They have control of how they put their hands on the club. They have control of where they put the ball, how they aim. They have control of all of those, how they set up to it. And they're very consistent with that. So then they take control of those things. Then if something's going wrong, they have a chance of maybe fixing the correct thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't take control of grip, aim, posture, ball position, and you miss hit a shot, what are you going to fix? See, odds are you're going to fix the wrong thing.
Right.
Okay, so the question you ask about where do people come from, first of all, I would say 95% of people who come to me, the way they grip the club doesn't fit who they are to square the club face correctly.
Okay.
So right off the bat, their hands are on the club incorrectly. We've done a very poor job in our industry of teaching grip. Basic grip was palms opposing, slide them apart, take your grip. Well, that looks nice, except for 95% of people physiologically, when forces are added to your joints, that grip doesn't square the club face.
Yeah.
So now you're into a compensation process. So the first thing is to learn and understand what grip fits you.
Yeah.
The second thing is you have to gain control of the club face. So one of the first things I do out here, and I try to get all these people that are members here, is say, okay, let's hit some shots because that club face is my hands.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to gain more and more control of the face. Now I'm not saying your body's not important, and I'm not saying you swing the golf club, you're just hands and arms. That's not the point. The point is your hands control the face. So you have to get to where your hands can make this face work regardless of what your swing does.
Yeah.
So I could make any swing. I could pick the club up like this. I could take it in here. I could do whatever you want me to do. And I can run the club face into the ball and make it go pretty much at the target.
Right.
Why? Because my hands sense where the face is, and I can bring the club face back on the ball. Every tour player are phenomenal with their hands.
Yeah.
Most players don't work on controlling or educating their hands how to control the face. The ones who do, who stand here and practice hitting shots, not swings, making the ball curve and learning how to do that, are the ones who then also start to get better. The others just stand there making random swings.
Yeah, so you're saying that the mindset difference between a person that gets better and a person that just flatlines their whole career, stays the same, is that the people who get better, they worry about the things that they can control, such as grip, face awareness, aim,
posture.
What would be the things that you might fixate on, but you have no control over?
How fast you turn your hips, how much you shift your weight. Those things they're things that you want to do, but that's not where you start. See, Jack Nicklaus made a comment to me, and I mean, he's made so many great comments over the years about, you know, why he's good, or why he's one of the best. I used to ask him, I said, Jack, so, you know, when you're practicing, what do you do every day? I said, he says, Mike, you got to understand something. Every day is an opportunity to reinvent yourself. I want you to think about that for a minute. Every day is an opportunity to reinvent yourself. And I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, when I come out here, the first thing I do is to make sure my grip's correct. You would think, how many years has Jack been playing golf?
Yeah.
You would think, why does he have to think about grip? He doesn't have to think about it, but he's going to make sure that it's correct for him, okay? Now, here's what I will tell you about grip. I know where my grip needs to be, but every day it doesn't feel exactly correct. If I went with what was comfortable, my grip would change on a daily basis, because some days my hands are puffy, some days they're not. So he said, every day is an opportunity to reinvent yourself. So what does he do? Starts with grip, gets his posture, gets a feel for the swing, runs the club face into the ball solid, starts to make the ball curve, gets control of the face, gets control of his path, and then starts to build his swing. Most people, I watch them out here, within 4 or 5 swings, they're making full swings.
Yes.
And I don't know what they're working on. I go over and ask them, what are you doing right now? I'm trying to keep my head still. I'm trying to make a big turn. I says, well, okay, then you don't care where the ball goes. Well, yeah, I care where the ball goes. I say, well, let's see if you can just hit some shots where you make the ball curve the way you want it to curve. Let's see if you can do that.
Yeah.
And they can't.
Yeah.
So I go, wait a minute. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Now, if all of a sudden you go 5 plus 5 is 11, you probably shouldn't be doing algebra.
Right.
Okay, so with the question, back to your question, why do people, some get better and some stagnate?
Yeah.
They stagnate because they've reached a level where they didn't learn the things they needed to learn, so they don't have control of basic skills. So it doesn't matter how much they practice, they get to a point where if 5 plus 5 keeps equaling 11, you can only get so far in math. I don't care how much you try to practice it.
What's a very typical shelf kind of stopping point for people that if you don't get this one thing right, you just are going to have an almost impossible time of ever improving your level?
Well, here's what I will say. One of the drills, or one of the tests I do for everybody, they come out here, one of the first things I have them do is I have them set up to the ball on this target line. I say, okay, I want you to start the ball to the right of that stick and make it curve back to the left. You don't have to hit it hard. Just start it to the right and make it curve back to the left.
All right, I'll try that.
And I do it off a tee too, so we're not even bringing angle of approach into play. So all I want you to do from that setup, you got to start the ball to the right of that stick and make it curve
right. And
back.
they can't cheat by going wherever. Start to the right, make it curve to the left.
Okay, it started to the right and it curved a lot to the left, but at least you could get a path from the inside and a face that turned over.
A general shape that, yeah.
So everybody who's any good, really early in their career, learned how to hit that shot.
Right.
Why? It goes the furthest. Now, 95% of people who play this game, if you ask them to stand up and start a ball to the right and curve it back to the left, cannot do it.
Okay.
The tour players, most every one of them learned that shot first, and they played it for 2 or 3 years, and then finally they went, okay, I want to stop hooking it. Okay. And then they started doing everything that they had to do with their body and their grips and their release patterns to take the left side out of the game.
Okay, that brings me to another question that I've always thought about is when it comes to listening to tour players for tips.
Yeah.
So are all of the tour players' tips, because they had this kind of fundamental basic understanding of how to do the right to left shot, and now almost everything they're working on in their game is to straighten that out? Is that why one of the reasons why like listening to tour players for tips gets people in a bad way? All right, high five. What's that mean?
That means yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See, those guys aren't wrong, but But it's like me walking into a room of a bunch of scientists talking about whatever, talking about something, or any company or anybody who's really good at something.
Yeah.
And they're sitting with the best in their industry talking about something, and you or I walk into the room.
Right.
We're going to have virtually no idea of what they're talking about. We might pick up a few words and kind of general concepts, but we sure as heck couldn't go apply it.
No.
Does it make the information wrong? For us, it's wrong. For those guys, it's right where they live.
Okay.
So when the tour players are talking to each other, they're not wrong, but they're talking to each other, not realizing that the audience is not in their world of understanding relative to physical development. So they're not trying to fix what the tour players are trying to fix. It's a different world, it's a different movement pattern, it's a different tendency. So if your tendency is for the club to come a little too much from the inside, and you start it to the right and you hit big hooks, and you hit it a significant long distance all the time, then maybe what the tour guys are doing is going to help you. If you're not in that world, then probably listening to what they're doing and focusing on what they're doing isn't going to make you better. It's probably going to make you worse, because it assumes a level of competency you don't have.
So Mike, let's assume that somebody can come up here and pretty consistently get this ball going like that.
Yeah.
Then how do you even do that? Like, I don't even know how to do that.
Almost everybody on tour, everybody hits the ball slightly from inside the target line.
Okay.
All of those guys, the ball is not starting right on their target line. It's starting a few degrees right of their target line. Even the guys who fade it hit the inside of the ball. It starts on or just right, and then it fades. So you've got to learn relative to your target line to have the club coming into the ball straight down or slightly from the inside. Now the tour players live anywhere from 0.3 degrees to 0.5 degrees from the inside.
Okay.
Or 5 degrees from the inside to like point something.
Yeah, right.
But they're all hitting from the inside a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as amateurs go, there's two things you have to learn. One, can I take this club and make that face run into the ball where I can curve the ball to the left? It doesn't matter where it starts. Can I make it curve left? So
okay, gotcha.
I'm holding the club. I got to figure out how to make the club face catch up so the ball curves to the left.
Yep.
Now, once I can curve it to the left, now I've got to get a path, which is the path that the club and my arms swing on, to make the ball start to the right enough so that that face alignment curves it back.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How do you go from curve to the left to start to the right and then curve to the center?
So now now we're talking path. So that was just a face issue.
Yeah.
Now what's path? Well, path is the path that your arms and the club swing on. So I've got to get my arms to go back and come in this way. They got to work this way. So now what we would do is I'd say, okay, make a swing, make your back swing, reroute your arms to the inside, which means this hip's going to have to get out of your way, and make the ball start way over to the right. I don't even care if it curves, but make it start way over. See, now my arms went way to the inside. So now once I can feel that, I do a little less of it, so the ball starts a little less to the right. And then I say, okay, now I've got a feel for, relative to my setup, how to get my arms and the club on a path that's going to start the ball to the right. Now let me add some of that face to it and see if I can get it to start to the right and start to hook back into the target.
Oh, so good.
So, and if you also notice, how hard was I swinging?
60% maybe? Yeah.
40, 50, okay.
Yeah.
When you start out doing this, it's not to see if you can do it at full speed. I hardly ever practice at full speed. So I'm standing here, now I've got a feel for path.
You feel like you don't really learn anything
I don't.
At full speed?
You don't. Full speed, you're into what they call reflex. So your brain may be processing, here's what you want to do, but your body's just going into reaction time.
Yeah.
So it's doing what it's always done.
Okay.
So when you slow it down, now all of a sudden, you're reconnecting muscle firing patterns because you're going really slow. That's about the speed I practice at. Now that's perfect. That was a little from the inside, the face was in the right alignment, to start it a little right and turn it back into the target.
All right, Mike, I'll try your ladder here. So step one, we're gonna do a kind of 50% swing that curves to the left. Doesn't really matter where it starts.
I don't care where it starts, I don't care where it does. With your grip, what do you have to do to get the face to close on the ball where the ball curves to the left? Perfect. Okay. All right, so now you got that. So now, let's make this swing Now this swing, you make a backswing, your same backswing.
Yeah.
Then just do it all right.
But now when you come into the ball, let's sit up there.
Yeah.
You're gonna make your same backswing, but now somehow you gotta make your arms route way from in here, so the ball's gonna start way over to the right.
Step 1, make it curve to the left. Step 2, make it
Now you're gonna
just
feel
start way to the right. Doesn't matter with the shape.
path of your arms. So the task is make your arms swing on a path. Okay, you started it to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're going, okay, I got a feel for how to turn the face enough to make it curve, and I've got a feel for routing the club. Some people call it shallow the club, which is what you just did.
Oh, okay.
You shallowed your arms. Now let's see if you can get your arms to do the same thing, your body to move the way it did, and your hands to turn the face over where it draws a little more.
Okay.
There you go. So now you match.
Yeah.
Now you can play.
Mhm.
See, so if you went through that same process every day and you were consistent with your grip,
That's a great.
your alignment, your setup, and everything,
Yeah.
and you did this every day with every club,
Yeah.
you would get so much better, it's a joke.
You're talking like 20 little short game shots just to get warm, and then have this little station, and you go that little ladder up and down.
You get control of path, you get control of face.
Final part, Mike. Let's find 3 tees here.
Okay?
I'm gonna make it even more difficult because I know people will always ask, like, okay, I can do this in slow motion but not fast. So the first one I'm gonna do slow, the second one I'm gonna do medium, and the final one I'm gonna try to do fast. Okay, so the first one's gonna be like 25% that curves to the left. Doesn't really matter where it starts, right?
Okay. Good? Perfect.
Second one's gonna be 50% that starts to the right. Same setup, same grip. That's my ball position.
You're fine, you stayed the same.
And it starts to the right.
Okay?
Okay, and then this one is going to be like a par 3 golf course shot that starts to the right and curves to the left, but like at full swing speed. Oh, I love that drill, man.
Well, but see, what it did was it triggered your hand-eye coordination and your feel for path and face. So every day is back to Nicholas.
Yeah.
Every day is an opportunity to reinvent yourself. You're reinventing your feel for path and face from a consistent grip, ball position, setup, and alignment that makes you consistent, and you get better and better and better at it. But every day is an opportunity to reinvent those basic skills. When I come out and practice, that's what I do every day. I mean, I start with like I'm a beginner.
It's interesting that you're not trying to just hit good shots. Like, nobody would describe that first shot or that second shot as like a good shot. It was low hooking and then block. But that actually was an important building block to getting to where I could hit that third shot solid and push it.
It's called skill development. It's called basics to be able to put. It's like 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 8. If 4 + 4 is 9, and you try to do algebra, it isn't going to work.
Okay, gotcha.
So what you just did with those things. So, but here's the other side of that. When you said that first shot wasn't a good shot, I go, wait a minute, that was great.
It's exactly what I was trying to do.
What were you trying to do? I was trying to make the face hit the ball and make it curve left.
Yeah.
Did you hit it and curve it left? Yes.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. What was the second one? Get my arms on the same backswing to route to the inside and start the ball way to the right. Did you do it? Yes.
Yes.
Good job. The next one was put those two together and see if we could, and you did that.
Right.
Good job.
Right.
So,
So if I had tried to hit that low little snipe hook, but it actually pured it perfect and like drawed it from over here to the center, it actually would have been a failure.
Well, it would have been a failure relative to that shot. But
Right.
here's the other thing you would have learned for that. So I get a lot of people that get out here and start doing this, and they all of a sudden they're trying to swing, they're trying to let their arm shallow, start it to the right and hook it, and they all of a sudden they make a swing and they hit it pretty straight at the target.
On the Arizona side of
And they go, well, I didn't do it. I said, no, but what did you just find your feel for? Straight.
So what to you might feel super from the inside, big hook. That actually might be what you have to start developing as your golf swing
To make it stay straight or just curve a little bit.
Yeah.
So every time you hit a shot, you should be learning something about what just happened.
Yeah.
So every shot is a success. It's just, you go, well, it didn't go at the target. Well, where did it go? Well, it went too much to the right. Okay. So what you felt there was what it feels like to get the club coming too much from the inside. Did you want it there? No, not necessarily. Okay, so then you make a practice swing and say, well, that was too much of inside. What do I need? A little more of this. So you learn from every shot. These people don't learn anything. They stand there and they keep working on where the club is. they don't control, or they don't get control of the things they really need to control to make the things they're working on make sense. Why do they work on this stuff? Because they've seen it on TV. Right. They've heard, do this, you got to make a full shoulder. And I'm not saying you don't, but there's a process of learning that you need to go through for that stuff to actually make you better.